Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tempest Radio Podcast. I'm here today with Sterling, Eli, and Ricky, and today we're going to be talking about how video games affect our culture.
So our prime culprit for today is Fortnite. I mean, it couldn't be anything else besides Fortnite.
I mean, you go out to public, you see kids just like dancing, like probably. I bet 95% of the people who are dancing with the Fortnite dances don't even know where they came from. Like I guarantee you, none of them know.
I don't really know where they came from.
Okay, well, take for example the floss, right?
I hate the floss.
The floss
Just
came
putting
from
this
the
on
Backpack
record, I
Kid,
hate it.
right? The Backpack Kid, everybody knows what Backpack
Right.
is. Yeah. Well, I don't think most of these kids actually understand that. So, like, for example, other emotes, they just don't.
Yeah. So I was browsing Instagram last night, as I do, and I saw a video, and the caption was, "Look at what Fortnite's doing to our kids," and it was just some kid just smacking a bush with a pickaxe.
No.
So for those who don't know what Fortnite is, it's a battle royale type video game where a bunch of players are dropped into a map, and it's last man standing wins, and the players have pickaxes that they can use to alter the environment. And so it's just funny to see a kid just smacking.
Yes, it is. And I really think the reason why I think this attracts a lot of kids' playtime is basically because it's like it's not super realistic. It's all cartoony. Like there is nothing in that game that remotely looks real.
I mean, that's not really a bad thing. It's probably a good thing.
It's not a bad thing.
It's appealing to a lot of people because it's so casual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no blood. There's absolutely no blood in this game. So I think that really, that brings in a bigger audience.
So when it comes to the culture aspect, I'm going to share a little example, and then we're kind of going to expound upon that. Is that I came downstairs. My family was downstairs. My brother-in-law and his son were over at my house, and so my step-nephew was playing Fortnite on his PS4 that he had brought to the house. And he was telling me that his friend knows Ninja, who is one of the is probably the most popular.
He always shows up on my Snapchat Explorer.
Yeah, he's probably the most popular content creator as of right now.
And that's totally true. I mean, not so much like I feel like I find more Fortnite like live streams on Twitch than on YouTube, because YouTube does have a live stream platform.
Yeah.
But
I think Twitch is still more popular.
Yeah,
right
Twitch
now,
is more popular because that's all it does. It's live stream, and then you clip the videos from your live
That's
stream.
what it's known for.
Yeah.
So basically, you have Fortnite at the very top. Now, there's been a few times where they've been bumped down.
Oh yeah, since you see the top rankings of all the games that are being streamed.
You see how many viewers, how many streamers are actually streaming that game.
So for like a long time, like basically every time I've checked in, like the recent past, Fortnite has always been number one on.
Like by a long shot.
Most Twitch
There's
streams.
like over 10, like I would say over 100,000 more viewers than the second place.
Yeah.
And it's only been a few times where it's knocked off. I think World of Warcraft, when it finally came out, the new expansion, that came out, and everybody was playing it.
Repping my
Except for Ninja, because
So-
he doesn't like playing those games.
So, like, there's references
awesome.
in songs about it. The news is going crazy over it. My step-nephew's talking about how his friend knows Ninja. There's a ridiculous amount of just memes and just... and, you know, people thought video games were nerdy for a really long time, but it seems like everybody plays Fortnite. You'll see, like, pictures of Shaq playing Fortnite.
I mean, not just that, but like
And
Ninja is the very. I thought it was actually pretty interesting. I'm not a humongous fan of Ninja myself, just because people are like, oh, Ninja, I met Ninja. Oh my god, I killed Ninja. Because in Fortnite that's a big deal, but it's really not. He's just a player. He's not some like gamer god.
He's just another.
He's just
another guy. Playing
he's
video
another guy
games.
playing video games for fun, and people take that to the next level. But basically, all these celebrities are playing it, right? And it is getting a bigger audience.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's just a...
And I think when it kind of Fortnite really stepped into its own, it became like a cultural icon, is when Ninja particularly broke that barrier of the stigma against people who play video games when he played Fortnite with Drake, who is arguably the largest
I never heard of that.
music artist.
Yeah,
I kinda wanna watch that now.
On Spotify, I listen to Spotify all the time. He's number 1 on monthly listeners. Like he has the most listeners.
I mean, everyone knows Drake. You don't
Every
even need to
every
explain.
song Drake drops just blows up.
Yeah.
Without question. And so people went nuts when Ninja played with Drake. And music is a huge part of our culture. And now the largest influencers on the music genre or the music industry, which plays a big part into how we interact with one another. Well, video games, and Fortnite in particular, is really the one making the big strides for this, is connecting it all. You know what I mean? It's bringing it all together, and it's joining, just how we interact with one another. And I mean,
especially also because it's so accessible. It's on every console ever. You got it on, PS4, Xbox, PC. I think you can play it on Mac too.
Oh, don't forget
and
the
then
Nintendo Switch.
they added mobile, and I remember I walked into class last school year,
and you just see everybody playing Fortnite.
Everyone was in games with each other, Fortnite,
yeah.
Freaking out.
I mean, Kylie, what's your thoughts on this?
If I'm being completely honest, other than the different styles, of course, I really don't know why Fortnite stands out more than PUBG, because if we're being completely honest, they're obviously the same concept, they have the same objective. They're both battle royale, so I just don't understand why people prefer more.
Why I think
if I can, okay, sorry, can I just give you?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think honestly, because it's free.
Yeah, it definitely beats it in that department, since PUBG or Players Unknown Battlegrounds is $30 or $40, something around there.
I think it was $30.
Yeah, I think it's $30. It may have dropped, but I think Fortnite has become more popular not just because it's free, but because it has so much variety, and it appeals more to the casual audience. PUBG is very realistic military style. Battle royale,
which is a
game.
lot of what you have in first-person shooters.
But Fortnite, in appearance, it can get very competitive. Don't get me wrong, but in appearance, it looks a lot more casual and a lot more inviting. And there's so much variety. The map changes. I mean, I got back on Fortnite last weekend after weeks of not playing, and there's just entirely new additions to the map. There's just floating islands everywhere, and I'm freaking out because I don't know what's going on. But it's like Epic Games, the creator or the publisher of Fortnite. I don't think they're the developers. They take every individual person and they ask them, what will make you play this game? Because there's so much, and really it's because of the skins. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. Epic Games has received a lot of input for Fortnite, because a lot of people, and it's cool to see the community come together for stuff because Epic doesn't leaking their new stuff. They don't show any new things that's going to happen during a season, which is basically every, I think, 70 days or so.
Right.
They don't like to share anything during the previous season, just because it wants to be a surprise to everybody. So it's really cool to see everybody come together, and I'm Twitter, for example, and people are figuring out what's going to happen, and it's really cool to see that, especially in a game that has a lot of people, and they're all gamers, so it's really cool to see them all come together. And that's just one thing that I thought was really cool about Fortnite itself. And I mean, I feel like the gaming community, just because of Fortnite, is coming together as a whole. There's no really...
The gaming community is now being recognized fully, because people, and in esports as well, because people made fun of esports for a really long time, especially people in the still in the television era, on news. But now esports is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's complete, and parts of it in different types of video games are fully franchised.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, for example, I'll take Overwatch for example. So I think it was this past year, they had their World Championships, and usually they stream this. They usually stream this thing on Twitch and YouTube, but this year they actually had it. I was at, I think I was at dinner somewhere, and they had TVs, and it was the sports channel, ESPN, and they were streaming the actual game. It wasn't a highlight from the game. They were actually streaming it on their
But
television. I
that's
thought
just
it was really
because
cool.
there's an audience for it, and now people are realizing that. So if you take the NBA Finals of 2017, and you take the League of Legends World Championships of 2017, the League of Legends World Championships had 20 million more viewers than the NBA Finals.
Oh no.
That's staggering to me, because you take a sport that is another big cultural icon. I mean, like, ball is life, y'all. Like, people people love
Yeah.
basketball, people love football, people love sports. You know, there's a lot of pride, and I think that's what plays into how we interact with one another, and like nationality. There's so many different aspects of this, but I just want to touch back on Fortnite for a second. Is that Fortnite reached 150 million players?
Yeah, I mean
That's a lot of
crazy.
people. That's half the population of the United States. Of course, it's not just the United States that plays Fortnite. It's all over the world, but that's a lot of people.
It is.
Honestly, it kind of reminds me of Pokemon Go when it first came out.
Right.
I mean, it was huge. It dominated the news. Everyone played it. You know, like, oh, what team are you on? You would go outside, walk around, and see people playing it, and they would be like, oh, you know, here's the
But-
Snorlax or whatever.
Fortnite hasn't died down, and
Which
Pokemon
is a
Go
testament
went out
to
pretty
itself.
quickly.
Mhm.
It's not nearly as popular as it was, and it's very rare for any video games to gain a player base after launch. Most of them have their peak at launch and then dwindle down, the only exception being Tom Clancy's Rainbow
Yeah.
Six Siege.
That's a famous one.
But I don't know, because you'd think that with the cartoonish and casual appearance to it, and almost like the childish nature of the game, that you would have the main media just kind of shun it off regardless of it being popular. Because most of the time, even if a game's super popular, the media would just criticize it a lot. And there's people criticizing Fortnite, of course, but it's not based on like the game being silly or stupid, but it's kids being addicted to Fortnite.
Yeah, it's just like Fortnite itself. I mean, yeah, Fortnite's really fun to play. I'll give it that, and it's really cool. I mean, like it's a cool game, but it's the bad side of Fortnite. For example, like I was saying before, kids dancing. I mean, it's just for some gamers like.
I mean, that's just kids being kids,
Yeah,
though.
it is, and for like older gamers or like more hardcore gamers back in like the like newer, like World of Warcraft, like the beginning people from World of Warcraft. Those are some hardcore gamers right there. I feel like they're like that's the face of gaming right there. Like people doing that and like playing Fortnite. I feel like they're I didn't want to say embarrassed, but they don't feel comfortable with that being the face of
Right.
gaming. And that's the thing. I mean, there's so many other more gaming varieties. There's like MMOs, there's RPGs, stuff like that. And this new game mode, Battle Royale, is the first one to be shown. So I feel like a lot of people are hating on Fortnite just because of that.
Right. And there's a lot of mixed opinions on Fortnite, but without a doubt, its popularity has soared to where I wouldn't say Fortnite in itself has become an icon, but video games itself are here to stay. You know what I mean? They're a part of our culture now, with no question. They're just like movies and any other type of entertainment. There's so much history behind it. But as interesting as this is, our bell is about to go off, and we might have to go to second period. So
Unfortunately.
thank you everybody for listening, and we're so thankful for you guys to tune in. This has been quite the experience for us. You may have noticed that we sound a little bit better. We were very fortunate to be able to get some new equipment, and so we're all very excited about that. If you would like to, if you like this type of topic, please tune in to Eli's personal podcast.
And I'll talk about that for a second. So yeah, I run the Gaming and Tech podcast. It's called The Joystick. It will be under the Tempest Radio podcast, and I will be basically covering new gaming stuff. I'll be talking about Fortnite, and not just Fortnite, but I will also be talking about other games and stuff like that. So please tune into that.
Again, you can listen to our podcast at tempest.podbeam.com. And again, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
The back of the club, sipping my wet is where you find me. The back of the club, macking